Okay, it's 7 o'clock and we will begin our today's Sutra sharing. And my name is Joe and I am delighted, as you can tell from my facial expression, that I am very happy to be online with all of you once again. It's always very good to see all of you here. And we are gathered here because we are going to review in the past week what we have heard and what we have learned from the Wondrous Lotus Sutra by Master Cheng Yen. And I understand that in the past week, other than the one day, which was lunar first, the lunar first day of the lunar month, and that's why we have one less day of the Wondrous Lotus Sutra Dharma talk. However, we have 6 full days of wonderful lecture and Dharma talk. And we're going to pick some important key aspect from these 6 days. And we are going to, actually only 5 days, I apologize, only 5 days. We have one less day due to the Air Force training exercise that took place at around 5 a.m. And they have these jet pilots, they have these jet fighters flying overhead. And I think for every 5 minutes, there would be some sorties flying over, and therefore it was creating too much noise, and so we actually paused the Lotus Dharma talk for that day. But anyway, we still have 5 full days of content, and I hope today we do a summarize for all of you that might not have the opportunity to get to see that. So previously, thanks to Brother Youping, who has shared, of course, it was the very wonderful Buddha bathing celebration and ceremony across the world. He had shared what he had seen from the Africas as well as the Philippines. And also last week, he shared with us, it's very important to rejoice in another person's merit, other people's merits, rather than being jealous and being arrogant. But rather, rejoice is to find that joy in other people's accomplishment and also praises. And of course, the most important thing is how do we keep our mind open and pure, our intentions pure, so that we would be able to treat all things happening with this very open mind and also this pure intention. And that was the content of the sharing from last week. And so this week, we're going to talk about something that has always been on my mind, which is the supernatural or the transcendental powers. And these are the powers that actually Master spoke of 3 days or 2 days ago. Today, we're going to talk about what does this supernatural power actually mean? And the second part we're going to talk about is the consequence of that supernatural power. And I'm going to go into a little bit detail about that. So let's begin today. Supernatural or this transcendental power. And this is something that has fascinated a lot of people. A lot of people, when they are getting into any type of religion or any type of faith-based practices, there's always talks about these power that go beyond what people can naturally do. These are the powers and abilities that go beyond natural belief. And so I try to define the words. So supernatural, in a way, it says it's a manifestation or an event attributed to some force beyond scientific understanding or laws of nature. So that's what supernatural or transcendental actually. Transcend, if you take it apart in the Latin roots, it actually means to climb over, to overcome. Something that's beyond, more than what we can imagine or believe. So in all these faith-based text sutra from ancient times, it always speaks of these powers that are something that cannot be proven, cannot be attained, or cannot be understood by that time, by the local time, by the contemporaries, to see that it's possible. And it is once again mentioned in the sutra, and that's why Master took the one entire day to explain to people what it means in today's term. What does supernatural powers means in the sutra? It was mentioned in the sutra, but what does that mean in today's term? So let's go on. So we could see that, of course, in the pyramid. This is not what Master said. I'm just bringing this up. The pyramid itself is just a proof of what people used to think, that it goes beyond scientific understanding or laws of nature at the time, but it was still possible. It was still possible. And in fact, we see in the picture, it is very possible happening right in front of our eyes. It's right here. Okay, so this is the Great Walls of China. At the time, nobody thought it could be done. And if you're living in the US, our president also talks about building a wall against, on the southern border, right? Is it possible? I don't know, but it goes beyond scientific understanding and belief that it can be done. What I'm trying to say is that there are these things that at the time people didn't think was possible, yet they are still done. Are these also considered to be supernatural powers? Well, contemporary times, we also see Tzu Chi, and we have more than 30 years ago built this hospital in this remote region of Taiwan where the population did not, even right now to this day, do not exceed 300,000 people, where people deem this place unnecessary to contain a place that is a medical center because there's just not enough demand. But Master Cheng Yen thought it was more important to have a state-of-the-art on the eastern coast of Taiwan to provide state-of-the-art medical services to the people here, because each life is basically, you can't put a money tag on it. You can't put a price tag on each life that has been lost because of transportation to other facilities, because we lack the state-of-the-art facilities here in eastern Taiwan. So that at the time was also seen impossible, but it was also done. And how was it done? It was done not only to one place, but we have 6 hospitals throughout Taiwan, 6 hospitals throughout Taiwan to carry out the same mission. So you can tell that there are many examples of things and events that are beyond scientific and understanding of the laws of the nature. And so that what I'm trying to say is, even though things will be said as supernatural, it just means that it's beyond the understanding or beyond the belief or beyond the ordinary belief of the people. However, under extraordinary circumstances, and people and will, that these are still possible. And what I would like to point out is, this is the phrase 一切唯心造 in Chinese. A literal translation means that all the things are created because of our mind. And in English translation, I put it as, we are where our minds take us. We are anywhere. What I'm trying to say is that all the things that you saw, whether it was the pyramid, whether it was the Great Walls of China, whether it was the hospitals that were built, they were built because our minds, the minds of few, the minds of many, made it possible. And everything is possible because somebody set their minds to it and put their will to it and made it possible. And therefore, even though they are supernatural, or they are more than beyond the belief, more than beyond the possibilities, then it is still possible because we are where our minds take us. And other than the supernatural part, let me define the word power. So the power, according to the dictionary meaning, is the ability or capacity to do something or act in a particular way. And that's the dictionary meaning. That's the definition of the word power. And so what we have done, and I wanted to summarize, what we have done in all these examples that we have seen, it's actually supernatural. Indeed, we have accomplished the impossible. We have now have the technology, and we have the accomplishment. We have gone to space. We have gone through fast travel and do the things that are considered supernatural or beyond the law of nature. To the people in the past, we have achieved much of that. What we have done is indeed supernatural. But can all these things be done in a particular fashion? Can this be considered our power? Can this be control in our own will? Or is this actually controlling us? And the biggest example is this. In this picture, you see one of my favorite device, iPhone, okay? And yes, it is providing with us a lot of convenience. It is providing us with the amazing supernatural powers. If you were to go back in time, not even 200 or 2,500 years to the time of Buddha, if you go back in time, say 50 years or 30 years when our hospitals were about to be built, you tell them, I have the information of the world with the touch of my finger. I have it in this small device right here, and it's only this big. It's only this big because I want it to be this big. Trust me, it can be smaller, but nowadays the big cell phones are making a big comeback, right? So it's only this big because I want it to be this big. But at the grasp of my palms, I have the entire world within my reach. I could do many, many things on this, including getting even the train ticket, which in the past, 30 years ago, it seemed impossible. So that is considered to be supernatural, but can it be considered something that we control? Can it be considered something that we have ownership of it? I don't think so. In fact, I think this device is my master. And unfortunately, I have to say this, but I think I probably listen to this device more than I listen to Master Cheng Yen, which is a very horrible thing to say, but it is true. So it controls me, not the other way around. So we are where our minds take us. Unfortunately, controlling that mind is very hard. And that is why we're not in control. And that is why we are at the places where we have all these technology and great advancements, but we're not in control. We have these weapons of mass destruction. We have these technologies that are out of our control because our minds take us to the infinite supernatural possibilities, yet we are not in control of this. And so for this, Master 2 days ago gave us a very simple 3-step answer on how we can begin to try to regain control. And the first step is start with sincerity. I'm going to show you how. Do not worry. You're going to tell me, Joe, what you're saying is gibberish, because how can you control an iPhone with sincerity? Yes, I am very sincere, and now you must listen to me. It doesn't work this way, right, Joe? You're not making sense. Trust me. Let's just start with this, okay? Start with sincerity. Everything starts with sincerity, and that's what Master says. And do you believe it? Well, you better believe it, because the next step is called have faith and believe. So start with sincerity and really, really believe, okay? Believe it real hard, really, really hard. And this thing will be in your control. It will not own you anymore. And take our minds. So instead of having our mind take us where we go, instead take our minds to where we go. That's different. No longer are we saying we are where our minds take us. Rather, work it and take our minds to where we go. And that is why every day Master says be mindful, because everything we do take our mind to it, but rather than the other way around, which is our mind flies to other places and then we go there and do what are the biddings of our mind. So let me share with you what this means in a real example, and that's our second part. So second part, I titled the title as do not listen, do not know, do not realize, do not inquire, do not believe, do not understand. And it's actually an excerpt from a segment of the verse. And I'm going to show you the actual segment of the verse here on the next page. I'm going to read this. And this is actually all quoted from chapter 14, okay? From chapter 14, the joyous and peaceful practices. Though I, the Buddha, uses skillful means to preach the law in accordance with what is appropriate. And in this case, what is appropriate is talking about the different capacities, the different wisdoms of the people, the listeners. Okay, so the Buddha preaches the law in accordance with what each one of us can receive and understand. And here comes that part that I mentioned, right? These people do not listen, do not know, do not realize, do not inquire, do not believe, do not understand. Even so, when I have attained enlightenment, and this is Buddha talking, even if these people do not listen, do not try to learn, do not try to understand and realize, and do not ask questions when they don't understand, and then furthermore, they don't believe any of the things, even that's the case, When the Buddha had attained enlightenment, the Buddha says, I will employ my transcendental or the supernatural powers and the powers of the wisdom to draw them to me, to cause them to abide in this law. And I wanted to show you because in this segment, this is where the word supernatural or transcendental power comes in. And I want to combine the two, and I'm going to show you a real life example of how this is actually happening. Okay, so let me show you in one example. This is the pictures of all the locations in the world where we currently have, of some of the places in the world where we currently have the Wisdom at Dawn, the Dharma talk in the morning that goes live broadcast. And I think many of you here also today also come join our live Dharma talk at 5:20 with the English caption. So you know what I'm talking about. And Master last week mentioned that there are over 5,000 people, okay, at the same time, online, at the same time, sharing, and that's what Master says, right, in the cloud, okay, online listening to the Dharma talk, over 5,000 people at that one moment from 5:20 to 6:20 Taiwan time. And this is what Master said on that day. This is what Master said on that day. To be able to consistently attend the morning Dharma talk daily, so early in the morning, regardless of weather and conditions, is indeed great cultivation. Okay, these are the words of Master from that day when she talks about these 5,000 people. I am very grateful because of the listeners' dedication. I am able to continue the Dharma talk. Know that at this moment, there are more than 5,000 people online listening. I cannot afford to stop or pause. These are the words of Master. I think it was on the 21st, May 21st. She said that, okay? She was being very grateful to the listeners because these are the people, the listeners' dedication are the force that pushes, that propels Master to continue. And she says she cannot afford to stop or pause. And she goes on to say, thank you all for your dedication and diligence, giving me, and this is Master talking, giving me the opportunity to work harder and not be idle. My gratitude is beyond words. Okay, so this is what Master says. Okay, this is what Master says. Thanking the 5,000 people. Thanking the 5,000 people. And the first time I heard this, I thought the 5,000 people is such a small number. I have to apologize, but I thought we have more than 5,000 people every day listening to Dharma talk live. But unfortunately, or fortunately, in Master's view, 5,000 people is a lot. But if you imagine today the world is more than 7 billion people, and how many people get to really have a chance to know of Tzu Chi, know of Master, and have the opportunity to listen to the Dharma, the principles being taught in the morning, 5,000 is really not that much. But in Master's mind, there's only one word, and it's gratitude. And she said her gratitude is beyond words. And the most important part is these are the people that because of the diligence of these 5,000 people, she says, as previous says, I cannot afford to stop or pause. And she's grateful because of you, of the 5,000, Master continues and will not be idle, okay? And I really thought that 5,000 is kind of low in number, and I didn't feel there was anything, but Master apparently felt she was very grateful. And when I first heard this, the first thought it was 5,000 is very little. Second thought that I had in my mind was, I thought there was another number, 5,000. There was in another chapter at another time when Master has mentioned about the number 5,000. And it raised in my mind that maybe there's some connectivity, and it brought me back to chapter 2. If we remember in chapter 2 in skillful means, these are the excerpt from the sutra from chapter 2. And it says, there were some 5,000 monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen in the assembly who immediately rose from their seats, bowed to the Buddha, and withdrew. And the segments beyond that, before that, was talking about a disciple who begged the Buddha to preach the true Dharma, the true law to everybody. And because the true law is so hard to understand, the Buddha refused three times. And so the disciple begged three times. And finally, when the Buddha says, yes, I can see that you are sincere. Yes, I can see that now the time is ripe. And I can see that this is the right moment for the true Dharma, the one true Dharma, the one vehicle is ready to be spoken. I'm going to begin, and then this happens. 5,000 people rose from their seats, bowed to the Buddha. At least they're respectful, okay? At least they're respectful. Before they leave, they bowed. Okay, that's good. So they bowed to the Buddha and say, bye, I'm done with this. And so it came to me thinking that perhaps, just maybe, Master has always talked about that all the people listening to the Dharma, to the Sutra, following the disciples of the Master, we have all this affinity that have been put in place, set in motion lifetimes ago. And Master had always said that we were at the same place that Buddha was preaching the Lotus Sutra 2,500 years ago. And I believed her. And I share with you several evidences of how I feel that is true. And that day, on the 21st, when she mentioned that there are more than 5,000 people around the world listening, it immediately came to my mind that perhaps all these 5,000 that are listening online, diligently listening online, were the same people that got up and left. And it is because of that, Master who stayed, I'm just making up stories as I go, okay? I believe that Master who stayed behind, saw the 5,000 stood up and left. And she committed to memory of all those 5,000 people. And now that we had come together again, she had the opportunity to give us the review of what we have missed. So she said, she cannot afford to lose any day. When the 5,000 people that left after 2,500 years later decided that maybe it's best to come back, Master says, thank you, I'm grateful to you, and I will not lose any one more day to the people that choose to come back. And why did I think this way? Because there must be a reason why all 5,000 or more than 5,000 from all of the world that are listening in live, they wanted to listen. And I really think that it was coming from the fact that they withdrew and they, after 2,000 years, right, they go like, well, did you hear about the Lotus Sutra? No, I left. What happened? And then people said, well, you shouldn't have left. Well, tell me what happened. There is no review, right? No Joe doing the review. So what happened? Well, hey, there is a Master Jing who is giving a talk on the Lotus Sutra. Would you like to do this? Would you like to hear? Great, sign me up. So now 5,000 people come back because they missed something that it was important. They missed since chapter 2 because they left since chapter 2. And so all the things beyond that, they came back. And because of that, Master who stayed wanted to do a complete picture and depict what the sutra was all about. So for some of you that joined a little bit later, perhaps in chapter 10, I think we started our review in chapter 10. For some of you that joined later, that means you left later, right? You stayed until chapter 10 and you look at the time, you go like, I gotta go pick up the kids. So I left beyond chapter 10 and you go like, whoa, what happened beyond that? Well, there are a total of 28 chapters. Well, there are 18 more beyond that? Who's gonna tell them? Oh, Master Cheng, great, sign me up. So I really think that it's the coming together of the affinity that in the past, disciples who somehow, some reason unknown to many left. And now there's a chance for them to make up for what they had missed. So Master, being the teacher of the Dharma, for all the missing part, she told herself not to miss any day that these people are willing to listen. And why am I telling you all these in my own story? Because remember what I said? Start with sincerity. All these, I believe, are supernatural in that no one thought that it was possible. If 30 years ago, you would tell Master Chen Yan that while she was busy making the possibility of building a hospital, if you were to tell her that there will be 5,000 people with different languages in different countries with a touch of the palm, a touch of the finger, grasp of their palms, be able to listen to the Dharma talk live every day without regard to weather, without regard to language, to anything, and still be willing to listen. If you tell her that 30 years ago, she would tell you it's impossible. So we have accomplished the impossible. That is supernatural. Yet at the same time, where did it begin? It began with the sincerity. It began with Master sincerity, thinking that if there is one person willing to listen, she would talk. She would preach. She would preach to even just one person that's willing to listen. She would share and tell you the true meanings and principles from the Lotus Sutra. That is sincerity. And she believed that there are people out there just need to be awakened. People are out there waiting to listen to the Dharma, but you need to wake them up. So for the past 30 years, that's indeed what she's doing. Inspiring people, making them believe, wake them up. So the faith is not just of the people listening, but also the person doing the preaching. She had faith and she believed in all of us. And she believed that the 5,000 people that left will one day come back. And when they choose to come back, she will be there to tell them what they had missed. And therefore, that's what she did. She took her minds to where she wants to go. She was mindful at all times, and that's supernatural power. And that's a real life example. So we are able to accomplish great possibilities because we believe, because we have the faith, and because there's sincerity, knowing that this is the right thing to do. Take our minds to where we want to go, not letting our minds take us where we go. And that's very important. And that is all summarized in this mindfulness that she preaches every day. Lastly, pretty good time control, 7:28. Lastly, and I wanted to take this very special occasion. I think today is I'm not sure. Today is the second day of the lunar month, May. Okay. And very quickly in lunar month, the 5th day of the lunar month, we're going to have what's called 端午节. And it's a festivity in Taiwan that involves what you see on the screen here. And these, I really don't know what they're called in English. I think they're just called 粽子 in English. And, or you can call them as rice dumplings. I don't think so. But anyway, call them what you want, but when you see them, you know what they are. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So that would be a very special occasion where we have or we eat, or at least we see people eat. Okay, maybe you don't want to eat it. But anyway, but we see a lot of these. Okay, and the reason why I bring this up is because in the past week, Master had made many references to this 粽子. And it's not to talk about how delicious they are, but rather what they represent. So you can see, and trust me, even though it looks to be non-vegetarian, but imagine that it's vegetarian. And it is, it could very well be vegetarian. And I cannot speak the same for the wine that is in the back, because it actually has the word alcohol written on it. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to preach. I'm not trying to tell you it's okay to eat meat or drink alcohol. What I'm trying to tell you is that what this 粽子 actually mean. Okay, so Master says the content of the 粽子, which is including the sticky rice, or if you see here some mushrooms, some other types of food that I don't know how to describe, edible, delicious vegetarian food. It's actually a collection of just like resources. Imagine all these things are resources or people of the society. And they are all coming together because of the leaves. They are able to wrap them. And Master said that the leaves of the 粽子, or the rice dumplings, are actually the volunteers, the commissioners and our volunteers. They put their hands and love around all the people of the society, and make sure that put all these resources together so the resources are not scattered all over. The loving and kindness are not scattered all over places because they are put together, they're pulled together. It's a convergence of love and kindness made possible by all the leaves that are our volunteers. We put our arms around the people we love. We put our arms around the society, around the people, and we put our arms around the resources of the society, and we put them to good use. And not only that, but Master says the leaves must be cleaned and washed, because when we're about to put when it's about to be in contact with the rice or with all the people, it must be very pure. It must clean. It must be clean without afflictions. And at the same time, she added, it must be cooked. And what does that mean to be cooked? Because once you cooked it, it becomes soft. It becomes softer. It becomes kinder. And this is her expectation, her wish, that all the volunteers can be clean and pure in intention when we are engaging in our affairs and activities with the society. And at the same time, to be soft and kind when we are coming in contact with all the people. And we also see the strings that wraps around it. The strings that wraps around each of these zongzi represents the leadership or the people or the member of the Sangha to actually put all of these, tie them up so then they don't unwind. So then they are continue to be packed together. And then we can put many of these societies together, coming together and pull all the resources from one village to the other, putting all of this together from one part of the world to the other part of the world, connect them. And connect them to what? To that one central location, to that one central theme. And that one central theme is our Dharma. It's our Dharma path. It's our school of Jing Dharma path. And so Master is saying that it is our job, it is our responsibility to love all the resources that are the sticky rice and the mushroom. And we can love them, wrap them around with our kindness, while we are being very kind and soft and clean and pure in our intention. And what holds us all, connects us all together is the Dharma that links us to the source of the Dharma, which is Buddha teaching, and also which is our Jingsi Dharma path. And that is my gift, or not my gift. I didn't make all these zongzi, but it is my wish that all of us, when we are eating zongzi, or when we see other people eat zongzi, coming next week, or the lunar month May, the 5th day of the lunar month May, we can always keep that in mind, that our responsibility is to love the people, and we ourselves must be clean or pure of intention. And that is what in this chapter 14 has been about. How do we have joyous and peaceful practices while we are taking the 4 kinds of teaching that was mentioned today? The 4, which is the actions, the words, and our thought, and most importantly, we have to make the great vows. And all these are important to tie up all the resources and the love and the energies together, so then link them up to the Dharma, because the Dharma will help each one of us to relieve the suffering and to also to get rid of our afflictions, which is the source of suffering. So that's my sharing for today. And we will now open the airwaves. I don't know. We'll open the sharing platform to everybody and to today's sharing. So thank you. And Sister Xiaoqing, please take over. Thank you. 5,000 disciples. I see that we have 5,000 disciples joining us. Wonderful and welcome. Please don't leave again. Don't get up and leave again. Remember our mistakes. Thank you.
Good morning. I think today we can hear from Sister Nikki Cheras. Sister Nikki, please take over.
Yeah, my friend, she showed no sign of illness, and she just passed away like that in a meeting at work. The first thing that came to my mind was impermanence, because we've been talking about impermanence, learning about impermanence in life, and that was really like, it struck me real hard. And but one thing I was very grateful during then was when I was on the way back from the hospital, that I was very grateful that, I know about Dharma, I learned about Dharma and Master's teaching. It taught me to accept and grieve and let go and move on. It's a lot easier for me to accept the fact that she's gone, but that we have to still live, and also to cherish our family and friends every day. And then the other thing I would like to share is also that this friend of mine, she's actually very, very kind. She has a very kind heart. She was my donating member. And I invited her to our Buddha bathing celebration a few years ago. And she was so inspired that she actually wanted to become a Sutra volunteer. And I invited her to the Batu Arang HIV home. And then she also even attended the English new volunteer training, I think that year. But after that, she never got to become to wear the uniform because she was so busy at work. She has a very high flying job, and she was very stressed out at work. And that got me thinking that, some people, they do have the good intention, but they never, it probably is just the affinity, it's not ripe enough or anything. It's never got to take that step to come into Suchi and really, walk the path. And I feel very grateful that I am able to do that. And I think brothers and sisters, we all should be very grateful, because we are really like what Brother Joe said, we are actually a very small percentage of people who can actually come and do good and also cultivate ourselves. So yeah, that's my sharing. I just want to say that brothers and sisters, I am very grateful for everything, and hope that we'll all continue to support each other and walk this path. And also very grateful to brothers and sisters in Hualien, and to Sifu, and also to Sangren for helping us to cultivate spiritually.
Thank you, sister, for your sharing. Okay, thank you. And we're sorry for your loss. But I think what you have understood, I think it's about what we can do with the amount of time that we have. And it's about that even before she left, you had the opportunity to share with her. And I think that's it's important that we don't know how long we have. We don't know. And this is something that has always been the mystery of life, is how can you predict when the end of life is going to be? You don't. But it's precisely this impermanence that we can make our life that is impermanent into something that is permanent, which is our thoughts, which is not just our body parts where we donate, but also more is the Dharma, the seed that we're able to keep through life and lifetimes and lifetimes to come. So thank you, and thank you for our sisters' inspiration, and we should continue to do that. And I think that one important thing is that we should continue to share these very constructive and positive energies, because in today's world, they're just so filled with all these negative thoughts and negative energies of all the things happening. So how can we make it better is by keep on sharing these positive thoughts, and also sharing and cheering for everybody to make it happen. So now, thank you for sharing, and we will now continue on to do our questions for today. And let me put up the questions, and then we could. So I have the question here. Thank you for all of you that have prepared this question. And we're going to begin with question 2. And let's welcome Sister Shu Jing, who is going to share with us. And this is a question that has actually eluded us for a long time. I don't know, for some reason, we never had time to answer this question. We always miss. And it's not because this is a difficult question. It's not. It's actually very simple. But we just always miss it. So we thought we should go to this question first, answer it, and get it done and over with. Thank you.
Morning, brothers and sisters, or sister and brothers. just like on this question. So why man is sit in front of female and then I think in just like what I said, in Western world that, you know, the women is very respectful. So we always say madam and sir first. But in other countries, they might have different sequence. So they might not have any reason for that. So just different, you know, rule or just habit. So just like our seat arrangement, it is a similar things because for us in our abode, like some people on the right, some people on the left, it's by our rule already there. So we didn't ask, it's just a rule. But sometimes, like for master, they have some kind of responsibility. They need to leave the ceremony earlier. So we had some seats, it's empty. Then after, you know, first section finished, the master will rearrange the people come to put them into the, you know, empty seats. So there's no rule. So then the people on the back, they will lead to the front to, you know, put in these empty seats. So it's just for the whole organized the way to be it. So I think in when we're learning, don't be impact who will sit in front of you on the left, on the right, just like the lesson we listened today. Don't put your, you know, your preference like, oh, I like have all my favorite to sit in front of me. The one who I don't like it just sit far away from me. Don't have this kind of mind. Just focus on the lesson we are learning because it's so valuable for, you know, at this, you know, the end of this Dharma age that we still have a chance to listen to the Lotus Sutra that we have left and missed listening. So when we come back, be focused, be concentrate on what we are learning, regardless who is sitting around of us. So we need to keep practicing this, including myself. Sometimes we will just have this kind of mind that go beyond the learning and different kind of thinking. So bring your mind back and be mindfully listen to the Dharma and learn really deeply on the Lotus Sutra. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks to Sister Shu Jing. Indeed, just like what Sister Shu Jing says, does it matter where you sit? Does it matter who sits next to you? Does it matter who sits in front of you, whether it's a man or women? Does it matter that the person sitting next to you is who you like or who you not like? What matters at hand now, at that moment, is listening to the preaching, listening to the Dharma talk, and do you really understand? It's the same thing in life. Does it matter that the person you like lives next to you, or does it matter the person that you don't like lives next to you? What matters is that you make the most out of your lives, and that is the most important. So the answer to this question is, why do we have all the males sitting in front of the females? Well, it's just the rules. There's no reason and there's no need to explain. It's just a simple rule to keep our lecture hall organized. So you don't have people, just like Sister Shu Jing says, filling in here and there, and you know, I don't want to sit there. There's one empty space because I don't like how you smell. You know, it's not how this works, right? There is a rule in place to keep this place tidy and organized. And that's it. No other reasons around it. Not because other people say, oh, it must be because the male have cultivated 500 years more. Is that the reason? I don't know if that's the reason, but to me, does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. What matters is where I'm sitting. Can I hear clearly? Can I find the peace in my heart? Not that other people around me, you know, their sounds, their movements, their smell, their other things affect me. That's more important. And if you're feeling that you are being affected by somebody sitting in front of you that are males, or by the people sitting behind you that are female, then the first thing you should ask yourself is not why, but how can you get rid of that feeling, because it's more important to focus on what Master is saying. So sometimes we see these questions and we find that, yes, from the questions we see that our minds are asking these questions, but sometimes these are not the questions to be answered. But what needs to be answered is, how do I put my mind back to what's more important at hand? So the answer is, I don't know why, but doesn't matter. And I hope for all of us, what matters is the teaching, the content. It's not where we sit. So finally, after about 5 weeks, a month, like this question keeps on coming up and we never answer. Finally, is it a letdown? Like, Joe, you just chicken out. You didn't really answer the question. Precisely, because that's not the answer we need. The answers we need are not in this question, but in the question of, do we really understand and are we really doing it? Okay, next on to question number 1, and Brother Yoping is going to share with us. And thank you.
Okay, good morning, all sisters and brothers. All right, so I'll be answering on question 1. To please elaborate more the benefits of having more metta, more loving kindness, I think, and compassion. So actually, yeah, first thing first, actually these 3 things are the same. Metta is the Pali word for 慈悲喜舍. The 慈 is metta, and metta 慈悲的慈, that's compassion, and it's also translated as loving kindness. So it's not just a simple kindness, simple act of kindness, but with a kind of sincerity and love from the heart, loving kindness. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to translate Chinese or Pali words using English, so you need to combine 2 words to show that the more fullness of the meaning, loving kindness. So what's the benefits of having more of these loving kindness? My a simple application I have been using often is I realized that whenever when my heart is just normal and calm, sometimes we say that when we look at a person, when the person is not smiling, it looks like the person is angry. When I'm not smiling, it looks like I'm angry. So sometimes we are not sure about our own facial expressions. But I realized that when I don't have any emotions, but I just force myself to raise my cheek, I realized I suddenly become happier. It's like my facial expression, the physical facial expression actually changes my whole emotion. You can try it at home. You don't need to look at a mirror, but I do that when in the morning after I wash up. I'll just force myself to, and I suddenly realize it suddenly just feels happy. I suddenly just feels happy. So I think that's one of the good application, that when you make it a very good habit, and then when people see you, they feel happy. And there's loving kindness, compassion in of course the superficial way, but it's so useful already. And then and it actually helps ourselves very directly when we smile. Immediately our whole emotion just becomes much better, because of our own action. So I think being compassionate, having a loving kindness, the benefit is immediate. From our own emotion, immediately we change. It's not that we have to wait. When we are compassionate, we don't need to wait. When we help others, and then because we help others become like us more, and so they also help us. This way we're actually helping. We are waiting for the benefits to come back to us by helping others, but that takes time. But we don't need to wait for that. Actually, the karma is immediate from our own emotions. I must also say before, the words that comes out from our mouth actually begins from the thoughts in our mind. It's the thoughts in our mind that comes out from our mouth. So if we say good words, it must mean that we have good thoughts in our mind. So that karma is immediate from our mind. Yeah. Yes, I thought that's what I think. The benefit is immediate from our heart. So have more metta.
Okay. I'm smiling. It must be because my heart is smiling. My thought is smiling. But it is true that we are what Brother Yoping says, that it is very important that you're not doing this for the benefit, right? You're not doing this for the benefit of the entire emotion. All you're doing is doing something, not trying to change the world, but that action of itself already make your own body to be more happier, to be more positive. And that has benefit of influencing other people. So we're not smiling because we can change the world, but it's going to have the benefit of doing so from a very small, slight action that we do, or maybe the slight inaction that we do, depending on what it is. So once again, are we doing metta or loving kindness because there are benefits? Or are we doing this simply because it actually is very natural? Or another word is, we're not doing this for the merit of influencing others, but rather the more benefit that we get, the most benefit that we get are actually coming from within. So we can try this at home, or try this at your seat, or try this to the person next to you, to smile. And you will realize that, yeah, your day just got happier, and your day just got brighter, and you just got a little bit happier. And that, when you really, at first your smile might be forced, because you might not like the person next to you. And no, I don't mean Joe. I don't mean Yoking. I love him very much. But I don't mean him. But you might not like the person next to you right now. And please don't look. The moment you look, that it gives a suspicious look. The suspicion, it just gives away, okay? But you might not like them. And the smile might be feigned, it might be forced, right? But the moment you smile, and even if faked or forced, and that person smiled back, and you know had to be fake, okay? But when that reaction starts to come about, you force a smile, and your face cheeks lift up, and maybe for that one single moment you do feel a little bit smile. Eventually that smile becomes real, and every cell in your body begin to smile. Then they will feel it, and then you will know that their smiles are real too. Then at that moment, no matter how much you don't like them, like the person next to me, no matter how much you don't like them, you will still find them to be smiling, and you will still find them to be very lovely. So that's our sharing for today. So doesn't matter how much you enjoy or not enjoy or hated today's sharings, if you smile, I think you will find that it's actually quite still a very beautiful day. After all, it's only not even 8 o'clock yet. So you still have many things to make today positive. So start by smiling. Thank you, everybody. And that will be our sharing for today. And today we have some special guests here today. We have our brothers and sisters from the US. They are here for, and let's wave to everybody. Let's wave. Okay. So the US, I think they're from San Francisco. We also have people also watching from I think Greg. I think their team is also online. So thank you all. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.